For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation Podcast for 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years. And that game's meaning, but I want to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, come and check out our socials. Discord, Facebook, Discord, Instagram, X. That keeps throwing me off. It's still a shit name. Change it back. All those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/PopCulturists, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are listening on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, with comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/PopCulturists, as well as our merchandise to popculturists.com/shop, where you can buy shirts, other assorted shit with our logos on it. Good start. Yeah. How y'all doing? Hope you're doing well.
You know, I'm
How's
alright.
things?
I'm
Yeah.
doing alright.
Yeah.
No work for 3 weeks. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, so update for Mac's situation. His wife is about to explode with Chungus. So
Style.
for those that may not have heard previous episodes, because we always start our episodes with like, hey, how we doing? What's the updates? How's life going? Max's wife, Ali, she is incredibly pregnant with their son. And as he's forcing her to get drinks for him, it's cruel. Yeah. So, and like, she has the diabetes, and as a result, baby Chungus is in fact Chungus. He is just growing like a motherfucker, and he ain't slowing down. So he has to be yanked out like just shy of a month early, but he's gonna come out like 5'10", and look exactly like Max. It's gonna be incredible.
Yeah, actually, do you remember, you know those charts that they give you, and they have like the curve of where they should be?
Yeah.
The cross's not even on the graph. It's like
He's in like the 105th percentile. He is literally an anomaly.
Yeah.
The 8th wonder of the world, Chungus Cooper.
Yeah.
Have you decided on a name?
Nah.
He's coming out in like 2 days.
It's a bold strategy.
Yeah. So Max and I have been fucking around.
First. He might come out and look like a fucking Doug or something. Who knows?
That's true. Like James was Oliver until the day he was born. Then in the morning I'm like, no, he's James. But yeah, so because obviously Max's other kid's name's Hadley. We've talked about her on the show before. And Max pitched to me, he's like, I think we should name them Bradley. So we get Hadley and Bradley. I'm like, that is horrible. I love it. I endorse this. Ali was not pleased. How is the Bradley debate going, though?
And apparently there's already like a famous Bradley Cooper, so it'd be really weird.
That is true. Oh, I was more focused on them rhyming than there actually being a Bradley Cooper.
Thank you.
That is awesome. Well done. Well done. Actually, that's a very good point, because Cooper is a much more common surname than Betson, right? So, like, I could have named my kid fucking anything, and no one would be like, oh, that's like that guy. I don't think there's like
That guy.
There's no famous Betsons, including me. There's none.
Correct.
Yeah, you fuck. But yeah, outside of how's things been?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, are you prepared for a second child?
Not at all.
Yeah, cool.
Not at all.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Things will happen. We'll see.
Anything else to report?
Nah, not really. You know, work's been pretty chill. Obviously, I got the next 3 weeks off. I trained my replacements while I was this last week.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, not a whole lot. I fucking burnt myself real good the other day. I dropped a pot of boiling water on myself. That was fun.
On yourself where? Because when someone says on yourself, that implies the junk.
Nah, I wish. I got like a red mark like that.
Wait, where'd you get it?
I got a red mark like this big on the side of my.
Yeah, on the side of your
So
junk.
I went to like tip the pot out, and because we've got fucking stone pots, they're all hot. That's the whole time.
Yeah.
And the tea towel slipped, and I grabbed the hot pot and I dropped it, and then I'm like, oh shit, I can't drop it. I need to try and save this. So I re-grabbed and like put my body into it. And I somehow caught it between like my chest area, my bod, and the fucking side of the sink, and then just fucking boiling water went everywhere. It was horrible. So I got this like nice pink bit.
Or a nice pink bit, yeah, you do.
Yeah,
I had something similar, like 1,000 years ago. Like I had a tray, and I grabbed it with like a tea towel because I didn't grab a mitt like a dickhead. I went, oh, that's a bit hot. I'm gonna put it in my other hand. Other hand had nothing in it. And it wasn't mean like, it was like, oh, that's kind of hot. I should move it. Not thinking, oh, I'm burning myself until I fucking grabbed the hot tray with my unprotected hand, which I did severely burn my hand.
Well, have you seen that video of like there's a parent holding a hot tray? She's like, here, could you take this? And the child goes to put the hand underneath it. She's like, it's hot. Can you take this? The kid's like trying to go underneath again, and she's like, it's fucking hot. Like,
yeah. That's me. I'm a fucking idiot. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm an idiot, and like that proved it. See, like you were smart. You had the tea towel, and then you fucked it. But like, you know.
Well, it has its own like little fucking handle mitts, but I couldn't find them, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll just use a tea towel. And then after I burnt myself, Ellie's like, they're right there.
Like, ow! You know, get these mitts out of the way. I needed some water. Like, oh wait, there they are.
Yeah, I'm fine now. I was really shitty for like 5 minutes after the fact because I'm like, I'm such an idiot. I was more angry that I like fucked up than it's more embarrassing than painful.
Checks out.
Everyone's
The emotional damage is way worse.
Like everyone's sitting at the kitchen counter, like right next to me. I'm just like, just don't talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
It's the shame is worse. That is true.
Yeah.
Like doing idiot things is bad, but like the shame that comes with doing idiot things, so much worse.
Yeah. What about you? Any any kitchen mishaps this week?
No kitchen mishaps. I don't feel.
You went? Did you end up going trampolining this weekend? Did you like fucking blow your back out again? Trying to be younger than you think you are?
No, I didn't go to the trampoline place. I took my kid to the pool instead, thinking this might be slightly better. So
instead you drowned.
So I think I've like properly fucked my shoulder from the last time at the trampoline place.
Dude, I did that this morning lying on my kid's bed the wrong way. Like for like an hour and a half, I was in so much pain. I couldn't lift my shoulder above my like shoulder.
So so the muscle that goes from like the one that goes over your shoulder, like down, and then connects to your tricep and your bicep, right? That is fucking murdering me consistently. And then I think it's also in here, like the muscle that connects your pec to that shoulder muscle, like doing just that fucking drills. I don't know what I did to it. I'm pretty sure it's from tussling the trampoline, and that was what, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? Yeah, 3 weeks ago. And it fucking hurts still. So I went to the pool. I was like, James, let's go trampoline. I'm like, oh, what if we go to the pool? We haven't gone to the pool in forever. And I think I could do some like hydro work under the pool, be like, oh, like try stretch it out and rub it in the pool. Try work my shoulder, you know what I'm saying? But no, it still fucking hurts, and I'm gonna have to go see someone, because it's like I've gone to the gym, like I've tried to like, you know, work it out, I've tried to like, you know, resistance band it, like massage it, you know, those fucking vibrating deep tissue thingies, and it fucking hurts. So like I've done something, and I probably should get it looked at. That's expensive, and I'm lazy, and I'm going interstate next week, so gonna have to wait.
Business trip expense.
Business trip. Yeah, well, I've done my shoulder doing business. Other than that, yeah, not much.
My carry-on luggage is too heavy.
Yeah, other than that, not much. Had the kid this weekend, as was alluding to. Got my haircut.
Get a trampoline for your place.
That's true. I could get a trampoline here.
Just marketplace that shit.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it could work. I'd say rest,
and then your kid will never want to use it and still go to the trampoline park. Like,
yeah, 100%, because those trampolines are way fucking cooler. Mute in the chat goes, I say rest and don't use your shoulder. Well, thankfully I am right-handed, so the left shoulder doesn't have to get as much work. But it's one of those things where like I find myself, I'm like, I'll get up and I'll use my hand as a brace and go, oh, or I grab a pot that's not full of hot water and go, oh, fuck. And then realize I'm an injured ass old man. That's the big part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I still go to the gym and stuff, and I just won't work it as much and whatever. But what I have been doing, though, this week is I've been playing a fuckload more games. Now, I don't know what it is. I have a feeling that I know. I think I know what it is. And I think the answer is Starfield. I think that is what has kicked me into gear. The anticipation, the hype, like all the little things that were like the greater fervor of Starfield is what's kind of reinvigorated me to play some games a little bit. So we touched upon it a little bit last week, but now I've played it as well. And weirdly enough, I don't fucking tell anyone, but thanks to the team over at Bethesda and Power Up PR, we provided a review code of Bethesda of Starfield. So
no, that's it. You need to hand in your resignation. You're no longer allowed to. You're no longer allowed to cover Sony related content. That's it. You're off the team.
Well, have you seen the whole thing with like Alana Pierce?
That's the joke.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
I mean, she's way more successful than we are.
Oh, incredibly. And like she actually works for them. We're just fans. But no, it was funny. I shot them in it was day before release, like full release, not the early release. I sent them a email. I was like, "Hey, like shoot my shot, but we feel it would be a disservice if we don't cover this game." And yes, we're a PlayStation podcast, but I think that's part of the gimmick. Is that like this could be a very similar to Baldur's Gate, like a genre-defining game, a generational defining game. You would have to be an idiot to just blatantly go, well, it's not on the console I like, so I'm not touching it. Like, don't be a fucking moron. Good games are good games. So I shoot my shot, and they went, yeah, man, fuck yeah, here you go, have fun. So I've been playing it on Steam, playing it on my sexy new PC, which is incredible. Playing it on Ultra, by the way. Shout out to my computer. It's fucking tits. So it's a good game. So you played like you've pretty much dived into some other games in your little backlog this week. So you haven't touched it too.
Yeah, I haven't. I think I played it for maybe an hour this week. I hit my Baldur's Gate grind pretty hard.
Yeah, because you've had that for a little while, and you're like, I think you kind of want to see that through. So you've been given that. And we'll talk Baldur's Gate shortly. So don't remember.
I'm also not in as much of a rush to play Starfield as you because I purchased my copy.
Yeah.
Shout out to the early access upgrade purchase through Games Pass.
But yeah, so to sort of add on thoughts from what Max said last week, as a Bethesda, so Starfield is Bethesda Softworks software, whatever, latest release. The marketing material says like 25 years in the making, which is kind of technically true. They've been wanting to do like a space RPG for a long time. And this is the culmination of sort of everything they've learnt as their time as a studio. And in a lot of ways, I certainly feel that, and I agree with that. And I feel the opening of the game is really weirdly reminiscent of like a Fallout and a Skyrim experience.
Have you, just before you get just before you get too deep into it, have you seen that clip where at the very start of Starfield, once you break open that first thing in the tutorial area, how it goes to black, and then it fades back in, and you're on the back of a cart, and he's like, "You finally decided to wake up." I'm like, what the fuck?
Have you also seen the clip from Jaffe?
No.
All right, so Jaffe has got some fucking PlayStation Sony pony elite fanboy motherfucker on a call, and the guy is like shitting on Starfield, this, that, the other, and Jaffe very quickly twigs that this guy hasn't played it. And he goes like, but what do you mean? Like, what's your stance on them? Because the guy, he's like, have you played it? And he's like, yeah, I've played like a couple hours of it. Like, oh, okay, cool. So what about that scene at the start where they make you burn all the bodies? Like, that seems a little bit fucked, doesn't it? The guy's like, yeah, man, it was a bit fucked, but like it's part of the decisions that they make. And he's like, I made that completely fucking up, right? Like, everything you've said to this point is now invalidated. Like, go fuck yourself. It's incredible. And it's become this whole little meme. Like, it's so, I know Jaffe's a controversial figure. I kind of fucking dig him. I think he's fun. He's also ADHD's hell. He's a blast. But yeah, so after I burnt all the bodies, it's kind of got this weird sort of mixture of the opening as like it does that sort of fade to come in like very similar to Starfield, to Skyrim, but then as you exit and you come out into the world for the first time, and you very similar to Fallout, you see the scope of it all, and like, this is fucking cool. And when you touch that fucking thing and you get the big space vision, like, admittedly, the game, from my experience so far, now really it's only a couple of hours, mostly because I've been playing a fuck ton of games this week, it is very pretty on my PC. It looks great. As of yet, I've not experienced any major technical issues, like really no hitching, nothing. Like, I'm very lucky that my PC is pretty beef at the minute, so it's able to run it without too much of an issue. Like, I'm finding the textures look great, the lighting looks great, faces look really great sometimes. Like, there are times where it's like, okay, well, it's not as good, but I can see where you're going. Like, when they're intentionally focusing on someone, it's kind of like in a playable cutscene. Like, you can really see just the crank up in fidelity.
Mm.
Some of the things I am confront is not the right word. I'm like, and we discussed this last week with your first impressions. Is the menus? There's menus fucking everywhere. So
apparently there's a mod for that.
What, to have more menus?
No, to like chill the menus out a little bit, streamline things.
Look, I do like me some menus. Menus are fun, especially like if you want to play good sort of RPGs. But what we discussed last week with the idea of you go into a menu to fly to a system, and then you land, loading screen, land. Now, granted, playing on an SSD, loading screen's like 3 seconds, nothing. Boom, load up. Oh, I want to go onto the surface of the planet. Oh, okay, boom, loading screen, you're on the planet. The
worst is when you accidentally go board ship instead of straight to your cockpit, and then you have to walk through your ship like a chump, and then there's an extra loading screen.
Yeah.
Because you have to sit down in a loading screen.
Yeah, and like, I'm unsure why the decision was made. Like, once again, when you've got like technology, ideally like a good PC or presumably the Series X, the loading screen should be of a minimum. Right now, I'm not saying that it should be seamless. Like, I know there's a lot of comparisons to No Man's Sky. And I do certainly believe that Starfield, unquestionably, is a much better game than No Man's Sky in almost every conceivable way. Because rather than having an entire world that you can explore and half of it's nothing, they at least section off an area of the world, as we were discussing last week, and you go, oh, cool, well, I can see, like, it feels denser, it's open world. And I love a good open world compared to a full open world, because you realize you have to structure and build and plan, and you get the illusion that you're doing all these big expansive shit, but it's really quite a self-contained little shoebox. Sandbox, I should say, not shoebox. But then, the inability to like get on your ship and fly off and fly out, like even if you could manually do that and then hit a loading screen, I think would be better.
I think, would you have that same problem had you not experienced it already in No Man's Sky? Would you be like, oh, this is just the norm? Because not many games have done the fact that you can fly out of and into separate planets.
I think even if there was the control to just fly a little bit, like just be the one to flick the buttons and go woo, and then you choose to accelerate, and then you hit a loading screen, that would be fine.
Because it's like one of those things. Like once you've experienced something and it's within that same genre, and then the next thing you interact with doesn't have that, you're like, but why?
Yeah.
That should be normal now.
Yeah, and because it's like the Nemesis system, which seemed to have never jumped into anything after.
The next GTA didn't have drivable cars. You'd be like, what the fuck? This is ridiculous.
Yes, I agree with you in that. Like, I think
to be fair, that's a very extreme example. But
but okay, so using that example and bouncing back, as that is using that as a principle, right? It's like going, because in a game designed around space travel, which is No Man's Sky and which is Starfield, and it's marketed as such, as you can traverse the entire fucking universe, anything that takes you out of said travel is a detriment. So that's the key difference here. It's kind of like, once again, if you were to say, if you were playing, I'm trying to think of a fucking game that doesn't seem a super weird extreme. Let me think. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's say you want to play like a farming VR game, right? The idea is something that I like. But you want to physically fucking hoe the fields or whatever. But you put the VR headset on and you just look at the soil and press X. Then what's the point?
It takes that immersion away.
Like, I'm not saying the game is not immersive. Like, when you're in it and when you're in the fucking zone and you're walking around Atlantis and you're doing all these things and you're meeting people and you're having conversations, you're like, fuck, this feels like a living and breathing world. Like, every time I'm not on my ship, it feels fucking rad. And then you do go into outer orbit space and you can fucking shoot people, and that's
I think the hang up here, and this is how I've described it lately, is it's not a space RPG, it's an RPG in space.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference. Yeah, it's the switching
it around. Not saying that that's a bad thing. Like, I'm thoroughly enjoying my time with it, but I'm enjoying my time with it when I'm 2 feet on the ground and I'm interacting with those players. I'm shooting, I'm running, I'm gunning, I'm jumping, jetpacking. All that's great. The least fun part of this game for me at the moment is the spaceship stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of those space battles. I don't care for it. It's cool that they're there, and I appreciate the fact that they are there, but that's the least fun part of this game for me. For me, everything else, traveling, getting to explore those different systems is great, but the in-between, the getting from point A to B, especially in space, I think is its weakest part.
Yeah. And, like, for me, when you're doing those space battles, I fucking love it, because it's all about, like, it feels very Star Trek in, like, siphon power from this to that, like, fucking, put the shields up to 100 and bring down the speed. You're doing that balancing act to be like, okay, well, I want to fucking make my guns shoot really well, so I'm going to have to drop my speed so I can't escape, but it's going to, like, those, like, flicking of switches, what it feels like, mint, love that. And, like, to be able to do that and go, and then, like, literally, even if it's like you don't physically fly in through the atmosphere and land, but I make the conscious choice to fly into the planet, and the game goes, coming in for landing, and then loading screen, and then you land. Or you go, I'm gonna fly up, and you hop in the ship, you turn her on, you press your button, you fire up all your things, hover. And then you get to you press the accelerator and you take it off. Like, that little bit extra, I think would correct the issue. And I know we're focusing on this because it is a very big nitpick, but in an RPG like this, where, like, the immersion is a big part, I think it's something worth noting. Now, not the immersion in the same as that fucking bald-headed prick who's yelling about pronouns. Fuck you, who cares? It's that little bit that kind of makes you go, oh, just backs you out a second. When you can do fucking anything else. Like I said, when you're 2 feet from the ground and you're walking around, you can pick up whatever you want. You can interact with almost anything you want. Like the idea of, like, hey, what's that? It's a fucking tray? Sweet. Yoink! And then you can take it back and put it in your ship and place wherever you want and have a bunch of fun with it. It's that little detail that's super weird. But the story's intriguing me. It is certainly a slower start. I disagree with the slow start analogy. I think it's a slower start, but I think that's because it's kind of what it's building towards. It's showing you the world. Like, the benefit of Fallout, let's say Fallout 4, you've got 3 other games that set up the premise. And even in the Elder Scrolls, in Skyrim, they don't have to explain the races, the characters, the world, because it's all the presumption. Yeah, the presumption is you have an idea of, like, who the Nords are, who the Khajiit are, what sort of conflicts you'll see in a fantasy world. But in here,
they have wares if you have coin.
Yeah, they have wares if you have coin. Like, fuck yeah, all right, sweet, done, rad, love it.
Sorry.
Yeah, they do, but they do. Where here they have to establish it, right, and go, okay, here it is. This is why you're doing what you're doing. Here's the preface. Blah 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 blah. And I have no issue with that. I haven't seen any fucking creatures that aren't human yet. By the way, is that a thing?
I have. What?
That off the top of my head, like people I can interact with. robots.
Oh, you mean like you haven't met any like interactable non-humanoid
Yeah,
creatures?
I'm like, what's
'Cause I was
up?
gonna say, how have you not seen a non-human on this game?
Yeah, I mean, walk up and go,
Okay.
what's up? And it looks like
I like Rex the fucking space crabs.
it looks like the guy from Omicron Persei 8 in fucking Futurama. That would be rad. It's like, I'm Commander Zer. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, Zer? What's going on? Like, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, look, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm glad I'm playing it. I'm glad I have a PC that can run it. I don't know. For me, it's like, yeah, cool game is cool game. Just because it doesn't come to the box that we talk about on this show doesn't mean it's not worth our time. Yeah, and it's interesting, like watching the internet right now. It's either this game is fucking rad, or hey, or some legitimately good critiques like we have right now, followed up with fuck this game, it's the worst. Bethesda have never made a good game ever. Like, fuck off. Where were you like a year ago?
Have you run into any of like the Bethesda bugs?
Not really yet.
I've only hit one so far, and it was an NPC I needed to talk to was just fucking flying in the air, and I couldn't reach him.
No, not yet.
All I had to do was quick save and quick load, and he was just standing in front of me where he should have been. But like, that's always funny.
Oh, dude, it's interesting. Like, playing this game so far, it feels like a Bethesda game, which is good. But I do feel that's kind of not quite to the extent that Fallout 4, was made in isolation. And like RPG game, like The Witcher came out, even though I don't really like Witcher myself. Like, it comes out and you go, and then Fallout goes, look at this. And you're like, yeah, but do you see what The Witcher did? Like, that's a fucking good RPG. Like, that's an incredibly new and deep RPG. What you've made is a slight it's fine, it's good, but like comparatively, like the fuck. And I feel that there's some parts of Starfield that are that. Like, it's like, hey, what is a good RPG has moved and you've not kept up.
Yeah.
But in some ways, it's hitting a different bar. It's really weird. Like, you going back to the balancing of the ship, it feels like that's what they've done. Like, we'll rebalance it. We'll keep a lot of the things that make it feel like a Bethesda game, and we'll ramp up some stuff that make it kind of feel like something new. But we'll keep some of the things that make it feel old and And
I mean, the main thing is at least the fucking gunplay feels good.
It does feel better. The gunplay feels fucking rad. Compared to Fallout, yes, it feels fantastic. Like, I don't feel there should be VATS in this game. That is a plus. Because in order to have accurate gunfire, you need VATS in Fallout. Not so much here, which is great. But yeah, one more to say. Like, actually, look. So I've touched upon a little bit here. Max, what's your thoughts on all this fanboyism at the moment? Like, granted, we have a platform that I guess can presume to be part of that conversation. We have never really, I literally have my allegiances on my sleeve, right? Like, I'm not fucking kidding. But it doesn't mean other games don't come to other platforms. What's your thoughts on it all?
Look, obviously this is coming from the very privileged position that we're in and that I'm in. I have all the consoles, so it doesn't bother me. I don't have that brand diehard loyalty that a lot of those super fans do have. That obviously, shouting the loudest on the internet. Console war's dumb. Let people play and like what they fucking like. Who cares? Do I wish it, having played this game? Do I wish it came to our blocks? Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Remember, it was originally going to, and possibly been exclusive.
Because it's fucking good. Am I shitty that Xbox now have a really good exclusive game? No. We have heaps. Let them have one. Fuck them.
Yeah, and because for me, I go cool. That means, like, the competition is back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I would also admit
competition breeds fucking...
Yeah, the lack of competition breeds complacency.
Yes, thank you.
But the challenge that I have here, and I agree it's a good step in the right direction, as this game has been in development for so long, I don't technically deem it a Microsoft game. It's not. It's a Bethesda game. Any game that Bethesda software makes moving forward is a Microsoft game.
Here's the big question. Are you playing it with an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller? Because I know you're not using a mouse and keyboard.
Oh, no, I was using a mouse and keyboard, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, Ethan gave me this. I probably should use it. And it's like an Elite 2 Xbox controller for those listening to the audio version. This controller fucking rules, by the way.
Yeah, I really want to get one.
Oh my god! Like, as much as I love my DualSense, and
don't get me wrong. I'm here with my Edge, but I really want one for the other team.
But yeah, the weight of this controller, the feel of the sticks, the metal fucking directional button, the directional pad. Like if it had like tactile fucking buttons like properly click buttons, this would be the best controller in fucking existence.
I do love the offset thumbsticks.
Yeah, that I can work with.
I'm
but it confuses me. When it says Y, I'm like, what the fuck's a Y button? That part.
Are you telling me you didn't install the mod to just overlay the PlayStation?
I didn't see that, and I was like, everyone made it into a fanboy argument, but it's like, well, no, if you're using a PlayStation controller, like, wouldn't that be beneficial?
What gets me is going from like Xbox to Switch, like push B. I'm like, fucking, which one's B?
Yeah, 100%. Anyways, we'll have more. Like, we've been talking about fucking Starfield for a long time, and which is good because it's a really good game. And I will look forward to saying a lot more about it. But Max, the game that you have been playing this week, and I finally started dipping my toes in, is Baldur's Gate 3. So I picked it up a couple of days ago, the day it hit PlayStation. Not the Lux Edition, like its retail release. This fucking staggered release dates are bullshit, by the way. Now,
pay to play, baby.
What was that?
Pay to play, baby.
Yeah, it's a bit rude. But look, I haven't done too much with it. I kind of just like made a very handsome drow. I was like, you're handsome.
Impossible.
Yeah. Oh no, you should see the chisel draw on this motherfucker. He's good. I made sure, I gave him. It was fun. It was like building a D&D character, but like not with the full creative suite of a TRPG, but like for me, who I have difficulty with TRPGs because of the too much choice. And where this goes, here is like, you can pick whatever you want, but here is your boundary. Here are your fences. As long as you stay within these fences, you're fine. And I'm like, sick. So I picked my character, I picked his fucking extras and blah, 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 blah. Made sure his Pangus looked the way I wanted it, which was really nice. It was good, just the right amount of bush. That was cool. Made his companion, go into the game. And like, I've really only done the sort of opening area when you get off the ship. And it was fun.
So you've escaped the Nautiloid. So what class are you playing?
I then just picked a fighter. I went fucking basic bitch about it because I was like, I don't really want to, because I'm playing by myself. Like, I didn't want to have to then think, have a character that's more of a support role. I don't want to fucking sit here and just spend the whole time healing non-playable characters. Like, if I was playing with a squad, I'd be like, oh, well, let's fucking pick something that can contribute to the team. But it was just me. I'm like, well, I'm just going to pick the thing that punches the most.
The game lets you change class for 100 gold.
God damn it. I've changed classes like fucking 17 million. I spent so long on that class selection screen, being like, weighing up my pros and cons and how I would play and what the traits were. Fuck you, Max. That's fair.
100 gold. That's it. Done.
But no, I really enjoyed the sort of the dialogue options and the play, and like because I really like characters where you can like persuade and a bit of charisma, and that's what I get where I get a kick out of my characters, right? So like I intentionally kind of shifted things in that direction. So to be able to go in and then like kind of lie my way through a little bit and be like, hey, there's a fucking brain that's trying to talk to you. I'm like, well, let me charisma this brain creature. And I did, and it was sick, And Miko's so you good on your rolls. I failed a couple rolls, and I weirdly enough, like normally I kind of get like anxiousy about it. Like I was trying when I played Disco Elysium, and I fuck up a dice roll. I go,
dude, I had this stereotypical dice roll last night. I'm like, the check was a 5.
Yeah.
I had plus 17 to my roll. I had advantage. The only way I could possibly fail was to roll 2 1s, and I rolled 2 fucking 1s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, live and die by the consequences, not
Yeah.
safe
See,
scumming.
for me, I would scum that because that's like I shouldn't. But like any other one that's like the roll of the die, but like one where it's clearly should be in my advantage, I can work with that. But yeah, obviously, as I said, like really early days, I got a lot more to experience. Because you said where are you at?
So I started and finished Act 2 this weekend.
Mm.
Like I hit it hard. So I'm now in the final act.
That's exciting.
Some turns happen in Act 2 which I was not anticipating. My character has gone in a completely different fucking direction which than I thought was going to take. I got some fucking cool, dope, legendary weapon by making a set of player choices, which was awesome. I may have murder hoboed an entire town because that was a choice. Basically, I had a little dude who's like, "I think you should kill this person. I'll give you something good." I'm like, "Okay, that sounds fun." And then all of a sudden, the entire town's like, "Fuck you, buddy," and I was like, "Fuck me, no, fuck you," and I killed the entire town. So that's a decision I have to live with for the rest of the game now because there's no traders there anymore, so I can't offload my wares. I've been over encumbered for like ages, just teleporting around the map because I can't fucking run anymore. I changed my companions up a little bit. So my companions are essentially I'm running a healer, a rogue, and a like a secondary wizard as my backup companions. Similar to you, I didn't really want to be the support role, so I made a conscious decision to make sure one of my companions was a healer. She's pretty cool. They're each of the characters that I'm playing with, because obviously your companions are the origin characters that you can pick from at the start of the game. So each of them have their own cool little solo stories that you can play through at the same time. They're very interesting. I've actually finished one of them completely. Her character backstory is fantastic. Basically, she was one of those holier than thou cleric paladin people, and I didn't think I was going to enjoy it at all, and it was kind of very dark and it was cool, really cool. The thing I'm enjoying most about this game is the amount of agency I have as the player. Because literally everything is interactable. I can do so many different things. There's so many different ways to handle an encounter. You know, do I want to bluff my way through it? Do I want to charisma my way through it? Do I want to put my bag on the ground that's filled with explosives and fucking detonate and run away? There's so many different ways.
You have done that. You've told us that story.
There's so many different ways that you can tackle any given thing in this game. That just makes it so much fun. And like, I'm playing 3 concurrent campaigns where things have gone like astronomically different each time, just from one dialogue choice.
That's cool.
So like, the town that I murder hoboed on my solo playthrough, we fucking saved everyone on my other playthrough
from
just
yourself,
from one, just from one dialogue choice. So it's really cool, and like, there's things that I've done in Act 1 that I'm now feeling the repercussions for in Act 3.
That's cool.
I think the biggest thing to also know, and they don't really do a great job of telling you, is during some quests, if you take a long rest, shit happens without your knowledge.
Oh, that's cool.
So like, if you're in the middle of like saving someone and you're like, I really need to rest, I'll be back, that player could just be fucking dead when you come back because you've pieced out to go and rest.
I'm gonna have a lie down. Come back, stabbed corpse. Like, shit.
Yeah, so
fantasy worlds are fucked, man.
Don't forget, the game does go on without you sometimes, so it's cool. I'm having a blast with it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Another game I'm having a blast with. Sea of Stars.
Literally. I haven't started it yet.
Yeah, really? Okay, so look, Sea of Stars is a game that came out on part of PS Plus this week. It's one of those day and daters. It's fucking sick. Like it's this really cool sort of like pixely RPG, very very influenced from your old Super Nintendo sort of JRPGs. You play as either Zale or Zale, Zale, and Valerie. You are the solstice warriors, you know, with one the power of the sun, one the power of the moon, and two you have to go and prevent some fucking super magic destruction before the next eclipse. And then you have your mate Garl, who's this little like fucking dude. He's like a non-magical being that comes with you. He's kind of your like party chef and cook and just all around happy, positive fellow. I did pop really hard for him at the start, so during the beginning of the game, like you kind of get separated from him as you go off to your magic school, and he stays back in your village. And then the game sort of prefaces at the beginning, like, hey, like, fuck, why haven't we seen him? Like, you know, why wasn't he there to say goodbye to us when we left? Like, you know, we thought he was a friend. So it sets up this sort of like, hey, how you became friends, and then with the journey, the adventure you went on, and then you going off to your school, and then you come out, and then you're like, oh man, it's a fucking bummer. What happened to Garl? And it's almost like, is Garl going to be the big bad? Like, because that's cliche. And then as you're out on adventuring, you know, pops out of a bush, it's fucking Garl. And I was like, I literally in my lounge room went, yes! And like, no joke, I messaged Padge and was like, oh, that's Paul James from Player2.net.eu. I was like, dude, I literally fucking got so excited when Garl turned out to be hiding in the bushes, and now he's part of my party, and he makes me sandwiches. Garl rules. Yeah, cool. So it's a turn-based little RPG. Makes me reminisce on the game that I connect to in terms of JRPGs on Super Nintendo, and for me it is Mystic Quest Legend, which was a Final Fantasy spin-off on the Super Nintendo, which I really had a lot of affinity for, a lot of love for. And can you start messaging in the group chat, Max? You're fucking distracting me with notifications.
Sorry.
It's the end of the day. I have no Ritalin left in me. Any slight movement in my peripheral is making me go squirrel. And it's very hard to keep a cohesive thought.
So, I've been super keen for Sea of Stars for a while.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't jumped into it yet, because I'm a huge fan of those big old.
This seems like a very fucking Max game, like especially with your love for like the pixel Final Fantasies.
It's one of those things where I've just got too much on my plate at the moment. Like I'm trying to get through Immortal still. I'm playing Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
I'm playing Starfield. We just started playing NBA 2K24. Like it's just one of those things that, because it came through PlayStation Plus as a monthly game.
Oh, I can wait for that.
I can wait for that. I'll get to it eventually.
Devaluation of games thanks to subscription services. But then again, I wouldn't have picked it up had it not been on PlayStation Plus. Had it not been on the service, and then I also got like hey, you should check this out from Padge. I probably wouldn't have touched it. But like, with it being free quote unquote, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then I'm like, I've actually been thinking about it like more than Starfield.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, every time I turn my computer on, it says you're playing fucking Starfield.
Oh,
not
really?
Starfield, sorry, Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing fucking Miles Morales.
Oh, well, yeah, because my kid fucking smashes Miles Morales. But yeah, he and I actually played Sea of Stars today. Like, we played it together. Because it was really cool. He enjoyed the exploring of the world. And, like, there are some time-based systems. So rather than just, like, you know, press attack and you attack them, if you time it right and you press X again, you get a secondary hit. You go bam, bam. And that allows for blocking as well. So block isn't like, if you take a hit, you could just take it, or if you time the X right, you'll block it and get reduced damage. So I was doing the combat because I needed to get that timing right. I was going to get my shit kicked in and make one of those attacks to have that bit of extra oomph, and the magic is fun too. So yeah, but no, James got a kick out of it. He enjoyed the world. He was asking questions about the characters and sort of all the things. And that was a lot of fun. But that was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. And yeah, like I don't want to go too much in the story or anything for spoiler, but I'm about 3 hours in collectively. It feels like it's been more, but I know that I've kind of died and come back and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But Also, I have a horrible understanding of like my time perception is fucked. Shout out to ADHD. So like I feel like I've been playing for days, but apparently it's only been 3 hours, which makes no sense. But yeah, actually we'll jump into this now and then we'll finish it up with Immortals. Max in the chat, Mute goes, whoa, you play NBA 2K. So yeah, thank you to the team over at 2K Australia and their PR team here in Australia. We will kindly provide a review code of NBA 2K24. So Max, who previously had been, like both Max and I have previously been like, sport games are dumb, except for the ones that I love, which is baseball. And then Max is like, sports games are dumb, except for FIFA's okay. And then I think it was about
and
like
NBA.
Yeah, and then
FIFA and NBA.
Then it was about like
on the occasion Madden.
Yeah, it was about 8 months ago. I think you went, "Hey, can you get up 2K to see if we can get a copy of 2K23?" And I did. I was like, "Hey, man," to the individual that's no longer there. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like Max has a random boner for NBA. He wants to give it a bill. He goes, "Yeah, no worries." Whooped as a code, and you went, "This is sick," and you kind of fell in love with it. And then. So when this came around, I emailed him. I explained. I said, "Look, Max has suddenly fucking turned the corner, and he's deeply in love with NBA.
Max is a real man. He kind of likes sports now. We need all of the sports games.
Yeah,
maybe golf because
I fucking love golf games. So that's golf and baseball are my two. There you go. But hell yeah, talk about the NBAs.
So I haven't played much. So we received that code Friday. I think it was day of release of the game. I think it came out Friday. I installed it yesterday.
Yeah, we were expecting to get it Monday because they're like, "Oh, well, you'll get a code Monday." Cool. So we planned accordingly.
So I actually had some friends over yesterday and we played some fucking NBA. It was awesome.
Wow, how traditional male of you. Well done.
So we were just the way we play. We were just. I've literally only played the essential quick play mode so far. I haven't dived into any of that stuff. So the rules are, you get 3 randoms.
Yep.
So you hit randomly assigned team. If you're not happy with that, you can re-roll 2 more times. I stuck with my guns. Got low 70s all the way through. My team sucked comparatively. I think I was playing like the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, Charlotte. Yeah.
My friend was a significantly better team. I won because I knew the controls and he didn't. So.
Technical win.
Technical win.
Speaking of fucking technical win, complete sidetrack. Did you see the trailer for UFC?
No.
Like they've brought in like an extra sort of levels of technical knockouts, and the clip is just a dude decimating a fucking face, and the ref's like, "Yeah, stop that."
Isn't this supposed to be like the first fucking M-rated UFC game?
UFC Undisputed back in the day was M on PS3, but like that did not have the in-depth just face pummeling of that trailer. Back to
PS3M is not the same as a PS5M.
No. I want to play the fuck out of UFC. It looks so good.
Back to NBA. Basically, I've had the one guy on my team who could fucking shoot, and I just kept passing it to him. He was like on fire by the end of the game. He had like 28 points. He single-handedly carried me to victory. Gameplay-wise, it's essentially this. Yeah. It's looking and running a little bit better than it was last year. But the bones, the skeleton is still so far the same. Again, I have only played quick play. I haven't dived into all the new fun fancy stuff. So I believe last year they did like Michael Jordan. You go through, you play all his big moments. This year they're covering Kobe Bryant. So you have the Mamba moments.
That's correct.
So I haven't touched that yet. I've literally put maybe 40-ish minutes into the game. It's very early, but it's an NBA game. You're gonna get what
Sorry, in the chat, Mute's like, "Lol," with the Hornets. Yeah, I don't think the Hornets is very few people's favorite teams.
Yeah, no. So, I'm having a blast with it. I'll dive into it a bit more this week. Baby pending. But yeah, sports games have always held one of those weird. I tend to not play like those solo careers. I definitely stay away from like those online fantasy draft teams. Like that's never been my thing. I am just the pick up and play guy. So as long as your systems are in place and feel good, it's gonna be a win for me.
Yeah, like very similar to yourself. Sports games have never really not being a big sports person in general, I discovered my appreciation of sport culture as I got older, and I, fell in love with wrestling. And like, it's interesting, when I fell in love with wrestling, I instantly understood sports. I was like, oh, I get it now. Like, I get why people fucking care about players and teams and know unnecessary stats about people and wins and losses. And I'm like, oh, cool, I get it now. Right.
Yeah.
So baseball, I've talked about my love of baseball before. I discovered while working overnights at McDonald's back in the day, and I just like, it's just a fucking fun game, and it's one of the only games you can actively cheat and get away with it, which is really fun. And like, the everyday bloke can do it. Like, it's great. You can see a dude that looks like me. So making me in baseball is sick because every dude's fucking husky. So the game is built for husky people. You can't make me in NBA. You can't make you. You're too tall. You're too short.
Definitely not too tall.
Yeah, I think. Remember you telling me, maybe for 23, you were like, I am literally 4 inches shorter than the minimum in this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, hockey, I got a kick out of because I really enjoy just checking people.
It's funny. It's funny. So in my hockey games, I want to be able to fight people.
Yeah.
In my basketball games, I want to be able to alley-oop.
Yeah,
that's my one stipulation. My soccer games, I want to be able to do fancy footwork tricks. Like, I'm very easy to please in most of my sports games. In Madden, I just want to be able to throw Hail Marys real good.
Yep.
I give a shit about anything else.
See, NFL is literally chess on grass, and I'm like, not smart enough to do it. Like, I tried with Blood Bowl, which is just fantasy fucking NFL, and I couldn't do it. I'm not smart enough.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's tight. It's good.
Yeah, awesome.
I really wish they'd stop annualizing. I think I've said it before. I really wish they would stop annualizing them and just be like, just stop releasing a new game every year.
Yeah, just make NBA 2K, and then you still pay your $50, $60 whatever a year.
You pay your yearly servicing fee, and you get all the upgraded rosters and all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's final game, because like, fuck, we've been going along just on the games we've been playing this week. Holy shit. The one that we've both been playing is Immortals Phoenix Rising. No, that'd be a bit old. Immortals of Avium. So once again, thank you to the team over at EA providing the review code for us when it launched. Admittedly, I was kind of in a funk, didn't really want to play anything. But admittedly, in the last 2 weeks, I've been fucking digging the shit out of that game. It was one of those ones where I just needed to be in that space.
Yeah.
And like, I'm there and I am all in. Like, I give a fuck about characters. I give a fuck about the world. I give a fuck that my magic is what I'm trying to save the world with my magic, but it's making the world hurt. I'm like, no! Like, I want to upgrade my fucking magic gun thingy. I want to make sure my whip is the best. I want to, the game fucking rules. I care about the world, and like, all these random characters whose names are incoherent. I'm like, I want to know about you.
Yeah.
Except for Devin. What a dope name. Devin. Fantasy names up the wazoo. There's Kandak and Shismagor and Booley Boodada, and then the Devin.
He's the Clive of the Final Fantasy
Devin
universe.
rules. But I'm up to like chapter 6, I think. At the moment. Out of 18.
I think I'm on like 9 now.
So I've just learned how to like fucking travel using the ley lines, which is like the little magic ripples around the world. They're sick.
Yeah.
And like I said, today I was playing with my son. Like, he and I played it for like 2 hours. And yeah, he really picked it up pretty quick, which is a good sign of a game, right? If your 6-year-old can suss out how to change weapons and what's better for what, and jump and dodge and recharge, and shout out to
how'd you go with the boss on the bridge?
Boss on the bridge?
Because like, there's like a short runway, and there's a guy, I think he had like a fucking big shield. He was like doing the whole juggernaut run. I think he'd just fucking charge at you. You're supposed to like, it was just after you learned how to stun people, and it's like,
oh yeah,
he kicked my face in for like an hour before.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where James was grind. He's like, Dad, I can't do it. I'm like, yeah, no worries, here you go. And I think I did it in like a couple of goes. But because same goes for like when you meet what's his name? Kendak, and fucking when you got to fight his right hand and you bust them, and then they make this big old colossi and you got to bust that too. Like, that was pretty shit. That was pretty shit hot. But yeah, like it's yeah, like when they were like when we were discussing the game before it came out, and we're like, this looks like fucking Doom. It does, and it plays like Doom.
Yeah.
In like the speed and the like veracity, and you've got like you do not fucking slow down. Like, do not move. Do not stop moving. You're gonna switch, and then as you see different shields, you switch guns. You know, switch magic, I should say, and then, and then the way they integrate that magic into the external world, and you're like, oh, use this for that,
There's
and
just
this for that.
puzzles everywhere.
It's tits, and like I just constantly want to look around in fucking caves and shit to find like, ooh, can I like green something and get, and a vine comes out and I can cross the vine. Like, the game rules. Like, it is most definitely not like an impeccable game. It's not like the same quality of like Horizon Forbidden West as an example, but the game fucking rocks. Like, for what it is, it's really, really good.
For a first release from a studio, it's real good.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like when we're in a time where new IP are few and far between, and even if they are, they're pretty shit house. This really is a strong start for something.
Mm.
Is there any other thoughts you want to add outside of that for Immortals?
No, not really. It's still banging. I'm still chugging through it slowly.
Yeah,
but it's been a lot of fun.
All right. Been a long fucking show already. We haven't even done anything yet. So let's get in the section where we inform the players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation.
Nothing. See you later.
Thanks very much.
No, so E3 is still dead.
Oh,
so there's not really any Sony news. I think obviously the monthly games are now live. Go check them out. They're not great.
Saints Row, Generation Zero,
and
the other one. I'm going to claim Saints Row while we're talking because I want to play it.
So the ESA, the organization behind E3, have parted ways with ReedPop after 2023's show failed to get off the ground. As reported by GamesIndustry.biz, the two parties had signed a multi-year contract to collaborate on the industry exhibition in an attempt to bring it back to its former glory. However, with this year's show a no-go, the companies have made what they refer to as a mutual decision to cease their partnership.
Good.
This leaves E3's future up in the air to some extent. Plans for an E3 show in 2024 have not been cancelled, but according to the report, it will not be taking place at the LA Convention Center, which is its usual venue. According to GamesIndustry.biz, the ESA is working on a, quote, complete reinvention of E3 for 2025. ReedPop, which runs annual events such as PAX and Comic-Con.
And PAX sells, by the way, 1 month. Fuck!
They are done with E3, but there doesn't appear to be any bad blood between the companies. Quote, we have enjoyed our time working with the ESA and appreciate the commitment to the games industry as a whole, says ReedPop's games events head Kyle Marsden-Kish. Quote, while we will not be involved with the future of E3, we look forward to seeing its evolution and where the ESA take it.
So this is interesting. So
does E3 need to exist anymore in the current state of the games industry?
No. The short answer is no. Because this is the thing. So E3 used to be, it's a time, right? Like it was that middle of the year where everything centered around this 1 week. And games journalists, fucking enthusiast press like us, we would that week was gospel. Right? That week was fucking the time. We would take time off work. We would stay up late. We would cover conferences. We would live stream them. We'd sit here with a pen and a paper and fucking write notes and do incredible breakdowns of it and stuff. It doesn't exist anymore. Mostly because we got fucking digital showcase up the asshole. And companies now are more willing to send out the message themselves, which is dangerous because it means that they get to control the narrative. Cool, it's just more extension of marketing. But yeah, with all these whether it be Jeff Keighley, who I think there's a greater concern we should think about, that he's the main one that does everything else. Like he does all the big, E3 was the one. Now it's Jeff Keighley and his shit. And I used to have some issues with Jeff Keighley, not him personally, but
granted, GDC and Gamescom still existed during E3.
Yeah, Gamescom still exists. Tokyo Game Show still exists. Like there are some of those big ones, like the DICE, not DICE Awards. What's the other one? Fucking earlier in the year, whatever. like, there are things outside of E3, but they were all sort of secondary. E3 was the big one. And the nature of spread news, those events don't need to exist anymore. Simply put. It's an old way of doing it that does not translate. Because, like, for me, personally, one of my previous longest dreams ever was to go to E3. To be in the room and watch a PlayStation showcase live. You know, like, I dreamt that I was what if I was in the room where we saw Horizon, you know, that one, it was 2016, where we saw Horizon and Days Gone and God of War and Arkham VR and all these things in one showcase. And, like, I was watching it at home and fucking crying because it was so cool and amazing. If I was in that fucking room, that would be a life experience. It doesn't exist anymore. Like, I don't give a flying fuck about showcases and stuff anymore because the world's changed and that appeal. And, like, do I long that feeling? Yeah. Like, I miss getting up at 3 a.m. and being excited and watching these things, and it isn't there anymore. What about you, Max? What's your thoughts?
I mean, it's one of those things of, because we essentially only got our news once a year when E3 was prevalent, and to now we get showcases every other month. It's one of those things where we're kind of spoiled for news, whereas that 1 week used to be when we got hit with everything, and then we would hear nothing for another year. But now they kind of drip feed it to us. So it doesn't feel as big anymore. There's not that build up of excitement. There's not that. It was kind of like it's Christmas. Christmas. Whereas now it happens all the time.
Yeah, and it's like
unless you're a Sony showcase.
Yeah, and they're the only ones I get excited for now. Mostly because, like, granted, because even back then, all these showcases in 1 week, you're like, oh man, even when we did a PlayStation show, all of these will impact Sony in some way. Now, I look at all these shows and I'm like, they're probably not really going to affect Sony. It's fine. I don't have to rush to watch it. I don't have to be... Granted, maybe that's why I've gotten old and, like, just more cynical, that I don't feel the need to be in that conversation, because I'll just be in the conversation tomorrow. The bigger concern is ReedPop is like the major company in gaming events management. I don't know who else could jump in. I really don't. And that in of itself should be a concern. But speaking of, PAX Oz, 1 month from now. Holy fucking shit. I am so exceptionally excited. Now, Max, seeing as you were originally only going to come the Friday because...
that's still my plan to only come the Friday.
Alright, cool. So I'm pilfering your pass. Pilfering your pass to give it to the missus. Yep, cool. So she can go Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, you don't want to ditch your newborn baby.
Yeah, no, I totally also forgot to ask for the fucking day off. It's that week is the week I'm going back to work from pat leave. So I'm going to have to, like, work some magic to get that Friday off. Yeah. I might just start work early and finish early. So instead of working, like, midnight till 7, I'll work from, like, 6 till 1.
Ooh, yeah, if you can work that, yeah.
And then I'll just sleep and then come up.
Cool. All right. Smart move. All right. Cyberpunk me once, says Max. All we know for sure is that the game-changing 2.0 update for Cyberpunk 2077, yes, will be launching before the Phantom Liberty expansion, which is set for the 26th of September. That's this month. CD Projekt Red's community director, Marcin Momot, whatever, has said we're getting more 2.0 info next week. Quote, we should be able to share details about the 2.0 release date next week. Thank you for your patience. Why'd you put that quote in there, Max? It's exactly what I just read. He said on Twitter. He didn't put the last part in Twitter. That was my...
I mean, the difference is you just saying it is just hearsay. This quote is now, like, fact.
That's true. Yeah.
You talk a lot of shit.
Oh my God.
Hence why we've been recording for 1 hour and 10 minutes and only just started.
You're like, we don't have any news this week. It's going to be such a short show. I'm like, hold my fucking beer, brother.
I've actually played some games.
Yeah, man. I've actually done some shit this week. Get fucking wet. This is what 2.0 has in store, according to CG Projekt Red. But of course, they're full of shit like everybody else. Redesigned skill trees and perks. Revamped cyberware and new capacity system. Ooh. Vehicle combat. Yeah, you can shoot out of a car now. Car chases. Combat AI improvements. A new police system, which is good because it sucked. UI and UX improvements, rad. Loot, items, and crafting changes, sure. New radio stations, yay. And much more, vague.
So these are the free editions. There are more editions coming that are part of the Phantom Menace Liberty thing, whatever the fuck it was called, Phantom Liberty expansion. But that is a paid expansion, also only available for current gen consoles.
Yeah. So look, I reinstalled Cyberpunk a little while ago.
This may get me back in.
Yeah. So I reinstalled it a little while ago. Just like, maybe I'll give it, maybe it's better now. And then they announced the 2.0. I'm like, I'm going to wait. Because like we played it pre-launch and then at launch and it was horrid. Even so much so that like the episode that we did, I was like, we can't review this. We're going to have to leave it because this game is fucked. Like, we were playing it on PS4. We were playing the PS4 version on a PS5, and it still was disgusting. Pardon me, it was unplayable. So, like, I'm keen to sort of give it another burl. But, like, I'm just like, oh, cool. Like, I think the time would have been a little while ago when I was motivated to play it, and now I have to wait again. That motivation's going to go. And I think, 2 years, 3 years later, it seems like a weird time. Like, the fact it's taken 3 years to get improved combat AI and UI up improvements. The basic shit. This game's fucked.
But that's what happens once they finished it, they went back to being a skeleton crew because everyone's working on the fucking Witcher games.
Yep.
Speaking of things that I'm not quite sure about,
have and always will be as shit as every other gaming company. Just so you know, they aren't your fucking friends. Every time they're like, oh, they're such good people. No, they were just as slimy, scummy, and full of fucking lies as every other gaming publisher and developer. Eat a dick.
Ryan, in a world of video game adaptations.
Oh, I just read the title. No.
Is this the one that we need?
No.
Stray, the indie adventure game, is getting the adaptation treatment. Annapurna Animation is currently working on turning the title into an animated feature film, retelling the story of a cat in a world inhabited by robots for a new audience. To recap, Stray released on PlayStation 5 and PS4 back in 2022, launching day and date on PlayStation Plus. It sees you playing as a nameless domestic cat who stumbles into a mysterious walled-off city, devoid of human life and infested with an aggressive mutant bacteria. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Annapurna Animation's Robert Baird describes Stray as, quote, all about what makes us human, and there's no humans in it, calling it a buddy comedy about a cat and a robot. He talks about the game's hope punk vibe, a term coined by the game's developer, Blue 12, which the team is aiming to capture. What the fuck did I just read?
Look. Stray is fine. Was it Indie of the Year? No. It was just voted by a bunch of fucking games journos who love cats. That's it. Like, if you take away any affection towards kitty cats outside of the game is fucked. That's not fucked. It's fine. Like, I'm way over exaggerating there. The game is average. It's fine. Like, you don't really get to be a cat. You just kind of jump around a little bit and meow at things and scratch at a couch. It's fine. I think it would maybe be a more interesting animation movie than a game. Because the premise is cool in like this end of the world dystopian sort of energy where you're like this one non-robot.
In what universe would you describe Stray as a fucking buddy comedy?
No, that is wrong. Because it's not buddy or comedic. It's barely entertaining. Yeah, it's not very good.
Hashtag writer's strike.
I did see that in the chat, and then no, I don't like. No. Yeah, but you know why? They don't have to fucking write anything because it's a cat. All right, quick bits. Slow Clap has provided its support for Sifu to an end with its recent final update. That game was sick. I wasn't good at it.
It was a huge update. Like, they added so much stuff.
Yeah, apparently. I haven't checked it out, but yeah. Alone in the Dark has been delayed from October to January to literally avoid October's fuckery. And I love that.
They also claim that they're going to like make it better and give it more polish to January. Because obviously they're like, we just didn't want it to come out in October, so we're going to delay it for like 3.5 months.
Yeah, and like I did chuckle at that. I was like, that's a long time. But then again, no. The challenge that we have is like it was set in October, which was going to be it's a spooky game, spooky month. But then we also had the likes of Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man and other things. And it's just like, okay, cool. Well, Alan Wake 2 is going to eat our fucking breakfast. Spider-Man.
Fucking Elephant Mario.
Yeah, Elephant Mario is going to dominate. Spooge is going to decimate. All right, well, let's just move. But, like, we can't move to November because Call of Duty will be in there. Can't put in December because really a lot of people don't buy games in December, allegedly, but I disagree. January it is, I guess. Can't put in February because February's always fucked, apparently, now.
Final Fantasy is February a month. I'm
So, like,
sure.
they have, like, a 45-minute window in December or maybe some January. Like, I'm bummed because I wanted to play it. I'm disappointed that it got pushed out. I was pretty keen. Having played it at PAX Oz a year ago, I was really looking forward to like getting in there because I do have a big soft spot for Alone in the Dark, A New Nightmare on PS2 and PS1. So I was really looking forward to giving it another go. But yeah, cool. But I did love the honesty in their statement of this time is rooted. We're just gonna not be here.
Well, I mean, Remedy did it, last week? They're like, yeah, we're going to push Alan Wake 10 days because, like, fuck Spider-Man.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh my God. Okay, so this weekend, my son and I watched all fucking Spider-Man 2 trailers that came out because he hadn't seen them, and I kind of did it on purpose because, obviously, we'll have to play it for review and stuff. I don't know that I didn't want to share it with him. It's like, well, we can't play both at the same time. And it's only on PS5. He has a PS4 at his house. The PS5's here. And if he realizes that it's not on PS4, he's probably going to crack the shits. Guess what he did? Crack the shits. Because one of his fucking dork friends at school was like, did you know there's a new Spider-Man game? So when he came to my house, he's like, did you know there's a new Spider-Man game? I'm like, yeah, I did.
You're like, no, son. I did.
I'm like, yeah, I did. It looks exciting. Do you want to? Can we watch the videos? I'm like, yeah. So I avoided the one that has like the controller and stuff in it because I bought him the controller as a surprise and it's hiding in my cupboard. I didn't want him to know about it. So he'd be like, oh, I want a controller. I'm like, ugh. But thankfully we dodged all that. So he did only just
until he goes to school on Monday. He's like, I fucking threw all the trailers in there. And then his mate's like, did you see the fucking controller in the system? And then next weekend, and he's like, I want the fucking Spider-Man PS5, Dad, make it happen. And you'd be like, no, son, I couldn't even get myself one. Fuck you.
I did warn his mum. I'm like, look, apparently he wants PS5. So just saying. But yeah. All right, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline 2 has a new dev team. Ha! The Chinese Room set to release 2024. Max, you still holding out for this game?
No, not at all.
Cool. Baldur's Gate 3 is now officially the highest rated PS5 game ever on Metacritic, currently sitting at a 97, with 96 going to Elden Ring and 94 going to God of War Ragnarok. Checks out.
Yeah.
Fucking
Baldur's Gate's great.
Nerds, the lot of you.
All right, upcoming titles for this week. We have Eternites PS5, PS4 coming September 12th. Mythforce PS5, PS4 coming September 12th. Nor Play With Your Food PS5, PS4 September 12th. Pixel Ripped 1995 PS5 September 12th. The Isle Tide Hotel PS5, PS4 September 12th. Ad Infinitum PS5 September 14th. AK Solotl. Solotl, yeah. PS5, PS4, September 14th. Is that just like an AK fish? Is that what that?
Yeah, I think it's an axolotl with guns. Is what I'm assuming.
Okay, cool. Super Bomberman R2, PS5, PS4, September 14th, and The Crew Motorfest, PS5, PS4, September 14th. Yeah.
Crew Motorfest, like the marketing's ramped up really hard because like all I hear is "If I Could Escape." Just Gwen Stefani every time I pull up YouTube. Mute in the chat goes, come on, MK1. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 has a staggered release date, so its early edition is next week, but the full release is the week after, I believe.
Yeah, I think fucking staggered release these days.
These staggered releases are dumb.
Kombat seriously coming out next.
It's like the 14th and then the 18th or something.
14th of September is its initial release date.
Yeah, what's the second one?
What the
I'll have to email Play On. I totally forgot.
Yeah, please do.
Beautiful.
It's saying September 19th on Steam.
Which is next week. There you go. Staggered release dates can eat bumholes. Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone for joining the show. As always, as we say, time is the most precious thing you have in this world, and you've chosen to spend it with us. Why? But thank you though. We do appreciate it nonetheless. But yeah, as I mentioned, it's one month off PAX Oz. You'll see both of us running around. I did reply to a tweet a couple days ago. Someone was like, "Hey, we need some hosts." I'm like, "This motherfucker can host. I can stand up in front of people and talk and do things. I do commentary. I do all these things that involve talking in front of people." And might be able to see Betson doing a little bit more. Max, no, he's fucked off. He's gone. He's done.
Yep. Oh, speaking of which, I may not be here next week.
Oh yeah, babies.
Depending on how things go. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, if I need to, I could solo a show. I've done it before.
Yell at Padge. The most recurring guest host that never wants to guest host these days.
And filibustering. That's true. I will filibuster so hard. All right, Max, send him home.
All right, everybody. You know the drill. This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. But if you want to take part in future conversations with us, come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you're calling it this week. Come check out those. All those links are in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/PopCulturists. We can watch us record this show live. We can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are listening on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/PopCulturists, as well as our merchandise store, popculturists.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. But until next week, I'll just by me apparently. I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was for the players. And preemptive congratulations to the birth of your son.
Oh, and if people can have the capacity to go play Starfield.
Yeah, go play Starfield. Congratulations, Max, on pumping out babies. Go play Starfield.
No. I didn't pump out anything. Well, I did initially.
Oh.